And welcome back to the Best of Jazz on GJRB Online here on Spreaker across America. Got some more great smooth jazz and classic jazz and jazz fusion coming up your way. And some classic big band music as well. We feature music of, let's see, we've got some Benny Goodman coming. Let me see what we have here coming up. Street No Chaser, we got Clark Terry, Count Basie with a couple of good ones. So stay with me for that. Herb Albertino on the brass. And we'll have some more. We'll have some George Benson, another great artist from Pittsburgh, and some of his great stuff. So tune in for that here on GJRB Online. Here on Spreaker across America, we bring you the best in emerging artists here on Spreaker. And we want to thank you so much for tuning in to today's broadcast. If you like our programming, I'd love to hear from you. Hit that like button, because that'll tell me we got some listeners out there. And it looks like we might even had one like from the posting. I haven't really posted yet, but I will post here in just a little bit on what we got coming up. So stay with me here on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. And the previous artist that I mentioned, John William Patrick McLean, hails from Spring Lake, and I'm not sure if that's Iowa or Illinois. I did leave a message with him on his thing here on the SoundClick, but I have not got a response from him yet. If I do, I'll let you know on that particular piece, because I am not exactly sure whether or not I had anything on him on that. Let's see. The other one I'm looking for right now is Michael Fanning, which I believe I thought I had on here. He's our next artist up on our jazz here. So I'm looking for that one. So I'm going to go into, let's see if we can find that and see where he comes from. If we don't have it, I'll look for that later on. Again, if I don't tell you the artist's location and where the artist is from, it's either that I don't know, that I never got information as to where the artist hails from, or I don't know and I didn't write it down. I will go back into my notes and I will go back into the site and pull it up and tell you later. So this next artist, his name is Michael Fanning. It is a selection that's called Free Air. Pretty good piece of music. Listen to this one. You're listening to the Best of Jazz on GJRB Online on Spreaker across America. America's heartland, this is GJRB, Clinton, Iowa.
Right. Give me the night. So come on out tonight, and we'll leave the others on a ride through paradise. And if you feel alright, then we can be lovers, 'cause I see that starlight look in your eyes. Don't you know we can fly? And if we stay together, we'll feel the rhythm of the evening picking us up high. Never mind the weather, we'll be dancing in the street until the morning light. 'Cause there's music in the air and lots of loving everywhere. So give me the night. 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 So give me the night. 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 Give me the night.
Oh yeah, one of George Benson's best too. Give me the night. Absolutely fabulous piece of jazz that hit the pop charts in the about the 1980s, early 1980s. George Benson, Give Me the Night. Before that, Herb Alpert's classic Taste of Honey. And on the other side of the ID, you heard music from Michael Fanning. Who I'm not sure, and I'm going to look that up. I'm checking my activity page here to see if I can find that, because I know I had it on there that I liked it and stuff, so I'm not sure if I get it. Looking for it, but so far I'm not finding it. So I'm going to have to look in. I'm going to have to look in my playlist where I have my jazz, because I know I saved it there. We got some more of that coming up from him anyway. Also coming up along the way too, some more new emerging artists and more good stuff coming up this hour. More stuff from Pittsburgh artists, and we have Billy Eckstein on the way with a classic as we head into the best of jazz here on GJRB Online on Spreaker across America. We're going to post this program all around, see if we can get some listeners. Hope maybe some are out there, and see what we got. Meanwhile, let's get into more good stuff here. This is Clark Terry and Straight No Chaser. Oh, yeah, you know it. Good stuff. Completely on so that both sides can be heard. Yeah, there you go. Straight No Chaser, Clark Terry on the Best of Jazz on GJRB. Here on Spreaker across America, I'm Gary J. Russell. Hope you're enjoying the program. Love to hear from you if you have any requests. If you have a classic jazz piece you want to hear, drop me a line. Going to open up my Skype. I haven't went around the Spreaker public site yet and opened up the show across the internet, but we will do that. We are in the middle hour of our 3-hour jazz extravaganza. It's called the Best of Jazz here on GJRB Online. And please hit that like button. I'd love to hear from you if you have a jazz selection you want to hear, and maybe even get on the radio with me a little bit, because I do kind of like play around a little bit, because this is a podcast. And, I do mixture radio and podcasting, and it's absolutely fabulous. Got a lot of response. Want to say hello and happy birthday to a friend of mine here on Facebook. She is celebrating her birthday. Her name is Marlene Beckies. And Marlene, happy birthday to you from GJRB Online. Jalva is celebrating a birthday today. We'll take a look and see if there's anybody celebrating a birthday with you who's famous. And you can do that, and we'll have that opened. And I'm going to pull up some more classic jazz for you here as we continue the Best of Jazz on GJRB Online on Spreaker. And I'm going to give me a chance to throw in a bunch of really good stuff and spread the show around on the public sites so that we can get people out there listening. So while we're doing that, well, let's throw in Victor Feldman now and In My Pocket. Yeah, you might recognize that as the Peanuts music. That's because that is Vince Girardi. And Cast Your Fate to the Wind. Actually, one of my favorite pieces of music. It was used in the movie Good Morning Vietnam, actually. And I always did, and I said, I like that piece of music, and it's absolutely fabulous. And of course, it was a big hit record. Back in 1965, it went to the number one spot. I remember a few days ago when I did my other show, can't remember what show that was now, I had talked about, and I had played the top 5 songs from this week in the Capsule Countdown of it was April 4th or April 3rd, one of those days I did a show. And I think it might have been somewhere, maybe Gary J in the Morning, if I'm not mistaken. One of the shows I did the top 5 songs from this week in 1965, and it was done by a group called Sounds Orchestra, or Sounds Orchestral. So there's 2 versions of that, apparently. One by that group called Sounds Orchestral, which went into the number one spot, stayed there for 2 weeks in the week of April 1st, 1965. And then I guess Vince Girardi did a cover of it. So that kind of had 2 versions of that piece of music. But Vince Girardi, when you hear that, you kind of think of Linus, you think of the Peanuts, and that's because that was Vince Girardi doing that particular piece. This is the best of jazz on GJRB Online. I'm Gary J. Russin with you, and we got some more great jazz on the way this afternoon. Hope you're enjoying the program. If you like the show, hit that like button. Love to hear from you. If you want to get in on it, we've been posting all over Facebook, and I'll be doing that as we continue the show. Got some new emerging artists coming up, some more really good stuff. So stay with me. Saturday afternoon, playing the best of jazz here on GJRB Online. And got a lot of really good stuff here, and I hope you'll stay with me. Got a lot of really good music lined up for you here, so keep it here on GJRB Online, and join me in the chat room. Love to hear from you. If you have something that you'd like to hear, or you just want to talk to me while I'm on the air, love to hear from you. And let you know what's going to be on GJRB Online on Spreaker this week, and what's on Spreaker coming up in the next hour. As we always do that in the last hour of our program, we feature what's on Spreaker. I'll let you know what's going on, as well as what's happening on the Spreaker public site, and also what's happening on GJRB. So you want to be aware of those, and put in your requests, and just talk a little bit. And of course, you can call me on the Skype line, Gary.Russin on Skype, or you can call me on the Facebook Messenger by hitting that call button. And or you can say hi to me through Twitter. You can listen to me live. You can listen to this show live on Twitter. Just get on Twitter, and I am the Radio Maniac. And you'll see that GJRB Online with the Antique Radio emblem. Can't miss it. It's right there. And you can see an opening when you hit that arrow, the play button. It'll open up into a widget, and you can listen to the show right there. Go right into the chat room from there as well. It'll just take you right to my Spreaker public site, so you can drop in and say hi. Love to hear from you. Got a lot of really good stuff coming up. We got Weather on the Fives coming up. So I hope you'll be with me for that. We'll take a look at what's on the national weather front. We didn't do that last hour, so we're going to do check some national temperatures. And I'm going to check some temperatures in your neck of the woods. As you know, some people have been experiencing some flooding. We've had some here on the Iowa side, here in Iowa. A lot of flooding, and there's been some severe weather in the south. Dallas, Texas, and some of those areas experiencing some interesting weather, and we'll keep an eye on that for you with our national temperatures. So keep it here on GJRB. So we get into 30 weather on the fives. Let's take a look at what is on the weather here. Tampa, Florida, checking in right now with 86 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Manhattan, New York, You're at 64. Kind of cool, but at least you're in the spring weather. 68 degrees for Los Angeles. It's a little warmer in LA. Is it about 4 degrees warmer in Los Angeles than it is in New York. Partly cloudy skies. 64 also in Pittsburgh, in our hometown of Ambridge. 54 degrees and fair in Cleveland, Ohio. Cedar Rapids checking in with 68 degrees. Washington, D.C. up at 70 degrees. And here in Clinton, Iowa, we right now looking at 64 degrees under partly cloudy skies. And we'll take a look at weather in your neck of the woods coming up in the next half hour of the Best of Jazz on GJRB Online. So stick with that. Weather on the 5s, 25 and 45 minutes past the hour here on GJRB Online. And we'll give you weather information for you here on Spreaker across America. This is John Hendricks now in Love and Peace.
I have loved, it cannot be denied, as none have loved before. How I've cried at the thought that I might love again, only to suffer more. You came then, and my infinite sadness departed, and I have found release. That was when you gave me every reason to live. Now I have love and peace. Now my suffering heart slowly mends. It's true that love really does bring you sadness when it finally ends. That was when you gave me every reason to live. Now I have love and peace. Now my suffering heart slowly mends. It's true that love really does bring you sadness when it finally ends. Oh yes, love really does bring you sadness when it finally ends.
And there you go. Great piece of music there from John Hendricks, Love and Peace, Omar and Pez. Smooth jazz coming up a little later on. We got some of the selections we played at our last jazz program, and I love this music, and it's absolutely fabulous. By the way, if any of you are interested in listening to public radio, every now I don't know about here, but wherever market you, whatever area in the country that you tune in to NPR stations, many of them carry a program overnight featuring some really great jazz. It's hosted by Bill Hillgrove, who actually I believe is from my area, Pittsburgh, as a matter of fact. He was a well-known disc jockey, and he did some sports on our ABC affiliate, Channel 4. Absolutely incredible program. If you ever have a chance to listen to that, it's incredible. He plays some great jazz in the middle of the night, so if you have an NPR station that plays that, listen to it. It's absolutely incredible. If you don't, I suggest listening to Iowa Public Radio every Friday night. We're in a program called Studio One, I believe it's called. It's out of Iowa Public Radio, and it's available on your TuneIn app. So just go in there and type in Iowa Public Radio. It should take you right to it. And it's a great program. They have some great jazz on a Friday night on IPR, Iowa Public Radio. On Saturday night, Dawn Wooten here locally out of Rock Island, WVIK. Great jazz on Saturday nights. So tune in for that. The WVIK Rock Island at 90.3. It's another NPR station. And they're very well good for public radio, very good for jazz. I mean, they bring you the best jazz. So, I can't afford it, and I can't really do it. But if you can, great. Support your local public radio station. Because I'm telling you what, right now, a lot of the government wants to cut funding for NPR and public radio. And I stand behind NPR stations, not politically for the news part of it, but for NPR's music programming, which I support quite a bit because it's absolutely fabulous. You hear more music on there and great jazz artists on there than you hear anywhere in the country. And it's always good to, check that out if you can, because it's good stuff. It really is. Tell you what, right now we're going to be back with more great jazz. I got some more jazz fusion coming up, more new emerging artists. So I hope you'll stay with me for the best of jazz on a Saturday afternoon here on GJRB Online on Spreaker. And you're welcome to join me and listen to some of this great music. Got a lot of really good ones coming up. And this hour being brought to you by KALA, another great radio station in the Quad Cities here, is KALA, St. Ambrose University. I know the program director, Dave Baker, absolutely fabulous man, runs a great radio station, and that's at St. Ambrose University, KALA. And that's also available on the TuneIn app. It's KALA 88.5 on the FM dial here in the Quad Cities, but you can listen to it on the TuneIn app from St. Ambrose University, KALA, for great jazz and smooth jazz. And they got it like almost 24 hours a day, so you can listen to some really good stuff. And he has great jazz programming on Monday nights. Tune in for that, KALA, St. Ambrose University. Got some more jazz coming up.
You hear great jazz on GJRB with the best of jazz, up-and-coming jazz, and smooth afternoon.
If you can't get enough of jazz and you live in the Quad Cities area, tune in to KALA, St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa, at 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of that great smooth jazz, you'll hear a lot of great jazz programming.
And programming in other great music formats.
Like blues, urban, including rap. Also classic R&B and Motown with David Baker on Rewind, Friday nights at 6 p.m. Central. In addition, you get programming in Spanish and some great gospel programming too. For more information on that great programming you'll hear, check out their schedule at www.sau.edu/.
Incorporated for information or a free consultation to create a system to meet your individual needs. Visit electronics.com for a detailed list of services offered or call 563-2423. Electronics sells and services security and fire alarm systems, background music, and installation and maintenance for business and residential phone repair and more.
You're listening to the best variety of jazz on one program, from smooth to classic. This is the best of jazz on Cool Jazz 106.7. And we're back on the air here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker across America, as we bring you the best of jazz. Thanks a lot for tuning in to the best of jazz on GJRB Online here on Spreaker on the GJRB Online Network, and locally on our 9-foot closed circuit little power station across the Clinton's North End at 106.7 Cool Jazz 106.7. This is the best of jazz. Coming up in the next segment, we got some more great jazz on the way, and got some new jazz fusion coming up, which I know you're going to enjoy. And I also got a lot of really good selections from some new artists, and including a guy by the name of Gary Skopek. We played him before with a couple of really good ones. He's got a new one coming up. We got to play for you some really good, interesting jazz music. I'll have another one by Michael Fanning, and a whole lot more. And another fabulous jazz artist, female jazz artist that has a great voice. And she does a really good cover of a classic, so we got that coming up. And some big band music coming up, too. By the way, speaking of big band music, I will be bringing that back. Swing Time will be back on our airwaves. I got the Swing Time request. And it's basically going to be no spotlight artist, just wall-to-wall big band music for a few hours. So that's coming up spontaneously. Watch for postings on the GJRB Spreaker public site. Also coming up on GJRB Online, they're going to a show between me and my wife Lori. We're talking about that one. That's coming up. It's going to be kind of a party line type program, and I'll explain to you what that means later on. I don't know if we're going to call it that, but it's going to be kind of in that idea of where we talk, and it's just going to be banter between us will be kind of fun. So if you'll tune in for that, it's coming up. And I have, of course, Christian rock returning to our airwaves tomorrow, later in the day. Also, our Clinton Church of Christ church services will be on the air as well tomorrow here on GJRB Online as we start Sunday programming here on Spreaker. And then Monday we'll not be broadcasting, but then we'll be back on Tuesday for the Gary Russin program. Working on the afternoon edition from 3 to 6 p.m. on that day, so tune in for that. The Gary Russin program right here on Spreaker, on GJRB Online and Spreaker FM 88.9 locally. We're going to take a break. I'll be right back. I got some more smooth jazz coming your way next on GJRB Online. This is great jazz here on Internet Radio, and I hope you're enjoying it. The best of jazz on the GJRB Online Network.